everyone, and welcome to this meditation session. And for this morning, I'd like to say something about the importance of safety. That when our psychophysical system, our body and mind, really feels safe, something settles deeply. Something relaxes in the body, the heart, the mind, that supports the deepening of the Dharma life, deepening of meditation. And for many people, a fair amount of feeling not safe, feeling anxious or afraid, doesn't have to do with here and now. Sometimes with anxiety, it has to do with predictions or assumptions or imaginations of the future. And sometimes it's deep conditioning from things that have happened in the past, which are no longer happening now. And these forms of not feeling safe or feeling afraid need our care, need our love, need our attention for sure. And at the same time, it's we can also remind ourselves that there is safety here and now. That hopefully when you sit down to meditate, you're sitting at a time, and a place, a situation where it's relatively safe. And that for now, for here and now, it's possible to remind yourself of that safety. That it's an offering that you make to yourself, give yourself. Not to dismiss the fears and anxieties, not to, but to put them in context. To allow a settling and a peacefulness that maybe can hold anxieties with a generosity, a care, a love, where we're not so caught in them. We're not so under their influence, but rather our fears and anxieties come under the influence of our ability to offer safety, care, love, where we're independent of them. The influence is in the direction of us to them, not our anxieties to us. So as we sit today, to the degree to which here and now, in the room, the place you're sitting at this particular time, not in an hour, not later in the day, but here and now, there is a degree of safety or tranquility or peace here, around you, in you, not to override the fear, as I said, but in addition to it. So we're not so caught in the fear. We hold it in the wider context. And this is one of the gifts of meditation. And the deeper the meditation goes, the more, maybe indirectly without it being an intention, we are creating the conditions within of deeper and deeper feelings of peace and safety. So something deeper and deeper can let go and relax and open up. So, like we did yesterday, I'll let this meditation be mostly silent so that you can maybe remind yourself to the degree of the safety that's here and now. And if there's not, then maybe call on your love and compassion for that, your care. So in this meditation, when you find yourself drifting off in thought, wandering away from the present moment, wandering away from the breath, it might very well be an opportune time to gently remind yourself of the safety that is here. Maybe saying the word gently to yourself, safe, safe. And then return here and now to the breathing, to the present moment. And the value of this is often what takes us away from the present moment might be some kind of anxiety or fears, something like not feeling safe. And if something else takes us away from the present moment, it still might be settling, easier to come back. If you say the word safe, reminding yourself of that. So, we'll sit silently today again. If you are distracted, if you're flowing along with your thoughts, consider whether or not you're better off returning to whatever degree of safety and peace there is here and now. Whatever degree you find it in your body, in your heart, your mind, or in the location you're sitting, here and now, helping you to stay here and now, flowing in the present moment. Instead of flowing in your thought with your thoughts. then as we come to the end of this sitting, to recognize or feel any degree of calm or peace or safety that's currently available for you. Maybe somewhere in the body, the heart, the mind. Maybe if you gently say the word safe, something in you resonates, smiles, recognizes it. Our body and mind benefits from bathing in the sense of safety that we can provide here and now, that we can touch into here and now. And then imagine now bringing safety, peace to others, the gift of safety, so that people feel safe when they're with us. They don't feel any assertion from us, any demands. They don't feel a need to take care of us or worry about us or protect themselves from us. Very simple gift of safety. That comes from being peaceful, at ease, settled in ourselves. May it be that we go through the day creating safety, offering safety to this world where so many people feel unsafe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And to the degree that we know something about these four states, may we create the conditions for others to have the same. Thank you. So hello and welcome to this third of 5 talks uh, uh, focusing on the poems of the earliest female disciples of the Buddha, the ones that became fully awakened, the early nuns. And yesterday, the poem that I read had involved a conversation between Kisa Gotami and Patacara. And Patacara, the Aya Patacara, the Venerable Patacara, was probably one of the most important uh, women teachers in the time of the Buddha. There's more references to her being a teacher, especially to other nuns, other women, than there is to any other woman at the time of the Buddha, these early texts. And so in these poems, there's a number of poems that refer to her, including one which is her own poem, which is her enlightenment poem. And and so I'd like to read that, and describes. And yesterday I told her a little bit about her story, where she had phenomenal degrees of suffering with the death of her whole family in the course of one day, or learning about it over the course of one day, and 2 young children, her husband, her parents, her brother, and so she became a nun, but maybe it wasn't so easy for her, even as such. She practiced diligently, and so this is her story that she tells in a poem. And she's talking about herself. This is what she was thinking. Young men gain wealth by plowing fields, sowing seeds in the ground, caring for children and wife. But why is it that I, thorough in virtuous conduct, doing the Buddha's instruction, not lazy or proud, have not attained release, have not attained nibbana? With feet washed, I watched the water, the foot-washing water, flowing from high ground to low. So she's sitting outside and she's doing what is as common in the ancient world as maybe hopefully for us is for washing our hands through the day. And people walked around barefoot, so they were cleaning their feet often. With feet washed, I watched the water, the foot-washing water, flowing from high ground to low. With this, the mind concentrated, and like a thoroughbred horse, taking an oil lamp, I entered my hut. Looking over the bed, I sat down on the bed. Taking a needle, I pulled out the wick. As the flame went out, the mind was freed. So this is a story of a person who practiced diligently, sincerely, but perhaps there was a way in which she was a little bit more trying too hard, and maybe too diligent. And so sitting down to wash her feet, and then watching she probably poured the water out or poured it over her feet, and then watching the water flowing down the hill, she became concentrated. She kind of lost her self-consciousness. It was something about the movement of the water flowing that pulled her into the world of the water flowing, like being absorbed and watching the water flow in a river going by. And so doing something completely unself-conscious and a simple, ordinary thing, putting down the effort to practice, almost like because she had this momentum maybe of a strong mind, strong practice mind, when she put something to rest and just got absorbed in the water flowing down, her mind became concentrated. And then she entered into her hut. There were no windows back then, so the hut, maybe it was evening, and the hut was particularly dark. And And this kind of simplicity, the radical simplicity of just looking at her bed. People who get concentrated, look, they can see things, and everything stands out sharply, clearly, for itself. There's you see a flower, wow, just a flower. You see an ordinary device, the cup you drink water out of. It's just like just that, the pristine perfection of a cup or a flower or anything at all. And when you're concentrated, you kind of see in a different way. And here she's just seeing something ordinary, her bed. And then she sat down on that bed. And because it was dark, she had an oil lamp. And the oil lamp is it's oil and it has a little wick that's coming out of the oil. And in order to turn off the light, she didn't flick a switch. She pulls the wick out of the oil, and then the flame went out. And in a concentrated mind, she was just right there for the flame, just like she had been for the bed. And maybe the whole world was just that flame, that light. And something about when the light went out, something in her mind let go, and she was freed. Some kind of peaceful focus on something like a flame. Maybe as the flame went out, even that focus kind of evaporated or dissolved, and there was a deeper letting go, and then she was free. So that's Patacara's story, and I love that it has to do with these very ordinary moments that were liberating. And there's a long history in Buddhism of recognizing that liberation doesn't necessarily happen as we're practicing, but as we practice, we're creating the conditions, the concentration, the stillness, the peace, the sense of safety, that when we're least expecting it, there is something that can let go deeply. We're right here, and we let go. So that's Patacara's story. And then there's two poems, or maybe more, where she is a teacher for a woman or for a nun. And she kind of refers back to her first poem, the way she is thinking, and the little experience of washing the feet. And this makes sense. Teachers often will teach from their own experience, from how they were thinking about things, and then that worked for them, and they're kind of offering that to others. And so she starts by referring back to her own reflection about young men who work hard and can then support their family, as a represents or as a metaphor for a practitioner can also engage fully and hard in order to become free. So she writes, or she says, and this poem is supposed to be that she's teaching to 30 nuns, and the word is 30 some, approximately 30 nuns. She says, taking a pistol, young men pound grain, caring for their children and wife, they gain wealth. Young men gain wealth. Do what the Buddha teaches. Having done it, you won't regret it. Quick, wash your feet. Sit to one side and settle on a tranquil mind. Do what the Buddha teaches. And then as a narrator for the rest of the next two verses, narrator says, hearing these words of Patacara's teaching, the nuns washed their feet, sat to one side, settled on a tranquil mind. They did what the Buddha teaches. During the first watch of the night, they recollected their past lives. During the middle watch of the night, they purified the divine eye. During the last watch of the night, they shattered the mass of darkness. And then the 30 nuns said to Patacara, the narrator goes on, standing up, the 30 nuns bowed down to her feet and said, "We have accomplished your instruction. We will live honoring you, as the 30 gods honor the great god Indra, who is unconquered in battle. Free of taints, we have the 3 knowledges." So the simple poem where the Patacara encourages them to practice, they do, and not only do they attain liberation, but this is a remarkable thing about these poems, the confidence, the clarity, the possibility that of spiritual maturation that is championed here. They attain the same level of liberation as the Buddha. These 3 watches of the night, the first 2 watches are something the Buddha is supposed to have attained, the night of his awakening. The recollection of past lives, the divine eye, which is seeing how people are born and die according to their karma, and then here is the shattering the mass of darkness, liberation, and the first 2 watches, those are not required to be awake, to be liberated, but to be a Buddha, full potential, like a Buddha. This is what one attains, and the 3 knowledges they're called, and so here this is also possible, and the women are pointing this out. They too have this, and so then there's one more that Patacara is teaching to a woman named Uttara. Taking a pestle, young men pound grain. Caring for children and wives, they gain wealth. Apply yourself to what the Buddha teaches. You will have no regrets. Quick, wash your feet and sit to one side. Having established the mind, unified and well settled, consider mental constructs as not self, as something other than self. Then Uttara says, I heard her words, Patacara's advice. I washed my feet and sat to the side. During the first watch of the night, I recollected my past lives. During the middle watch of the night, I purified the divine eye. During the last watch of the night, I shattered the mass of darkness. I then emerged endowed with the 3 knowledges. Then Uttara addressing Patacara, I have accomplished what you instructed. I will live honoring you. Free of taints, I have the 3 knowledges. So I love these poems that of Patacara becoming awake, and then her teaching the other nuns, and then in their appreciation of what they were taught, that they will honor her, they revere her, respect her for her gift, and so here we get a sense of at least for of ancient nuns, we get a sense of one of the most important teachers of the time of the Buddha, and how she was engaged with teaching. It's one thing to say in Buddhist traditions that a woman could be enlightened. It turns out it's another thing to say that it's okay for them to be a teacher. And there are traditions where they say women can be enlightened, but there's still a kind of a discrimination against women then stepping up into the teacher role. And here we have these wonderful stories of not only a nun, a woman who's a teacher, but an effective teacher, a teacher that can guide people, support people to their own awakening. So, Patacara. So thank you. Thank all of you. Thank Patacara. Thank all the lineage of nuns and women teachers down through the ages who upon whose shoulders we stand as well. So thank you very much.